Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is Malikicowtipper, going to bring you another game of StarCraft 2, and tonight my opponent is Doubt. So hopefully he has no doubt in his mind about his abilities when it comes to this game. Although, I'm sure he didn't while he was playing the game, but you're just going to have to wait and see as to what the outcome of this particular game is. So we have Doubt as the Red Terran in the lower left-hand position of Steps of War. No, this is not Steps of War. This is Lost Temple. Silly, you believed me for a second, didn't you? And then we have me, Malikicowtipper, the Blue Zerg, in the basically middle right-hand position of Lost Temple. So, very fun map, gives you a good, nice, easy, natural expansion that you can, as a Zerg, as a Terran, you can definitely take, but these cliffs beg to be abused by Colossi, although they can't walk over there, which is pretty much awesome. I don't think they can be dropped over there, so not Colossi, but Siege Tanks and Thors, a Thor drop with the Destiny Cloud Fist is incredibly effective on this map, because so many Zerg fast expand. But, looking at the map right here, what I've been doing lately is, instead of just going all-out fast expand build, regardless of where my opponent is, I like to scout them first, and that'll pretty much dictate what I'm going to do as far as my early build order goes. So as you can see, we are definitely not in the faraway positions from each other, and this game is kind of cool because it brings out a lot of really interesting strategies, things that you generally do no longer see in TVZ. So taking a look at this, I get my scouting drone in here, and I'm immediately calling my Overlord back, and I'm going to park him right over here. This observation that your Overlord can give you over here can literally be game-changing. I'm not even joking about that, but again, continuous goal of the scout is to keep him alive as long as possible, and doing this is actually something that can really increase your APM, because you get good at taking care of not only your base, and also taking care of your base. So we take a look at this right now for the APM of both players. Right now I'm definitely ahead of him, and he is just very lackluster at 27 APM. Hopefully he picks this up later on. I mean, I'm bringing you onto YouTube here, buddy, and you look like you've played plenty of games. What, 25 things? It means you're doing less than one thing a second. That's ridiculous. But, again, I'm no pro. 75 APM per minute, that's nowhere near pro. Excuse me, but having seen that we're in close positions, I did decide to go for a faster pool. I laid down a pool at a gas at 16 and a pool at 15. And getting an Overlord, it's a little bit of a late pool, but still very secure, even against double Rax pressure. Now, I spotted the tech lab coming out of the barracks, and just thinking about that, I was assuming Stim Rush, to be honest with you guys. I really thought that I was going to see a double Rax build with Rush to Stim and just literally try to bulldoze me over, but now there's a barracks going up in the back corner of my base, and this is a really interesting decision. I can see the barracks, it's by no means hidden from me, and right now, to my dismay, I did not know that there's a Reaper on the way, and it's been forever, I think, since they've done the last patch. I've seen Reapers used twice, and the first time I saw them used was an incredibly good play where the person kept around a pack of 8 or 10 Reapers, and in numbers like that, they literally can just absolutely destroy, almost any buildings with their mines very quickly. And his Reaper's getting over here as quickly as he can, but his Nitro packs are just not going to be ready, and right now he's actually just flying around. He gets into the bunker, and he starts sniping out one Ling, but that was just a suicide death trap in there. I'm not really sure what that poor Reaper thought when he was hopping into that building. So checking it out, he's deciding to go for one more Reaper, and if we take a look at the income tab right now, I'm ahead of him by 3 Harvesters, and I'm throwing down a Bangling's Nest and a Spine Crawler here in my base. The Spine Crawler is in response to the Reaper, just in case 2 or 3 more of them come out, since speed will not be done for another 30 seconds or so. Even though this won't be done in time for speed to be done anyway, so maybe a bad thing on my part, but it's just a little bit of extra security that I want. He's finishing off his wall off, and going for a second Rax. So, I don't know if that play did exactly what he expected it to do. I'm sure he was expecting that he'd at least be able to bomb my gas, come out here and pick off drones, and then fall back into the bunker for security. But this one Reaper right here, just using his dualies, he's like, pow, pow, pow! Just loves to kill motherfuckers. But if you can get your Zerglings in the right position, Reaper's not too terribly bad. And just my Overlord telling me what's going on. He's like, bro, get your Speedlings over here. They're going to run up, they're going to get the surround, and that Reaper, even with his dualies, he's toast. Done sauce. And back to the income tab again, he has not been building, workers this entire time. And I'm assuming he's been relying on mules to help supplement that income, because the Planetary Fortress is done, and he actually has enough energy to call... Nope, mules are 50 energy apiece. My bad, guys. And looks like he's just throwing a lot of his money straight into tech buildings. We have a second tech lab going up, a third barracks, all pretty quickly while trying to get the Reapers out and continue to harass with those. So, I'm going to run up here with my speedlings, and basically what I'm testing for is I'm trying to see what's on the other end of this tech lab right here is researching conch shells, and what I really was doing right there is just testing the waters, and always run your lings out far. They easily could have sniped one more of them, and you just let them auto-move. Just take the time to move them. We go over to the production tab. I'm producing 16 units worth of zerglings. I'm going to try for a bangling bust now. I do not quite have the eco up and running to do a bangling bust like I normally would like to. I could maybe wait another minute or so, but I'm afraid that he'll have too many troops up by then and my bangling bust won't be effective. But if you do a bangling bust and it doesn't have the desired consequences, you just threw away a lot of troops to kill, what, a few supply depots? Maybe damage a barracks and take out a few proxy marines? But we take a look at the army tab right now. You know, I'm definitely larger, way ahead in the food count, and if I can get, you know, banglings and zerglings in there, but he's going for these marauders. His conch shells, they are completed, and the only thing that he does not have right now is combat shield. He's even got stim already. No, he doesn't have stim, my bad. It's on the way. You know, it is 30 seconds away from being finished. And right now he's lowering his ramp. He must be getting ready to move out. He's probably planning on doing a timed attack with stim. And right here, my bangling's easily able to blow up those tech structures, but when I see all those troops up there, I realize that with the 4 or 5 marauders and the marines, that this attack is just going to be completely wasted. Especially now if I run up the ramp, that his stim packs will be... Oh, snap! I didn't even realize that in the game, but yeah, this right here, banglings off creep, no speed. They're literally just targets. There's nothing you can really do about that. I am able to damage some of the troops right there with remaining units, but what I gotta do is I have to quickly go through and produce a lot more zerglings and hope that these guys just do not rally to their death. And he's actually supply capped pretty badly right now. He's working on taking care of that, and kind of cool. So with that attack, not only did I supply cap him, but I happened to kill the tech lab that his stim pack was on, which means he's going to have to completely restart it, and it was more than likely not cancelled, so he's out the mineral and the gas. And that's got to be just incredibly frustrating. Look how cool that little explosion is. It's like blue awesomeness. But right now, I basically need to keep these zerglings out in the front, so I do not lose too many of these banglings. I'm going to need the banglings just to clear out the marines properly, and I really need to wait for reinforcements right here. This queen, oh my god, she's not going to die. Ridiculous. 10 more units, 12 more units, 14 more units worth of zerglings, just getting enough to clean this up right in time. And she even gets 2 kills. Look at her. She's a baller. Just absolutely incredible. And this is kind of why I like this game, is there's a back and forth. First we go to the Reaper play, and then Bangling Bust on his wall. Haha, you have to restart. And then going back and nearly able to push me back. You know, if he would not have been supply capped from that Bangling Bust, he probably would have had more troops out there, and I don't know if I would have been able to hold that off. I might have been able to hold it off at my main, but I for sure would have lost my natural. And with this right now, this was a bad move. There's no need to run all your zerglings up there. I'm just losing troops, and with the conch shells, it just slows them down. Like, look how slow they run after that. Absolutely ridiculous. And right now, he's just using these barracks to funnel out troops. I am way, way ahead in terms of the economy right now. And now that I have this expansion up and running, going back to the production tab, I'm hoping that I can try to, essentially speaking, macro up. And I was able to spot that command center going up, so I'm hoping that with my Overlord, I should be able to see that over here very soon. If I do not see that base moving over here, that means is that he's tried to do a ninja expansion. And he's going to fly it over here, and what he's more than likely going to do is build a planetary fortress over this, just with how aggressive I've been. A planetary fortress going up here at the second makes this such a difficult position to break. If you put some tanks here, you really creative put some tanks here too. And now I'm morphing in Overseer because I saw that, and I want to start dropping changelings in there to see what I can see. And if I see a small army, I'm going to rush in there with speedlings. I have a spire on the way, and kind of cool, I've been collecting gas this entire time and using very little of it. The Evo Chamber went up just in case I want to do an upgrade, or in case I happen to spot, you know, a starport in there. I want to be ready for Banshees. I'm taking a look at this great composition of both Marines and Marauders. He catches my changeling, and it goes down, and he's actually pushing out with this group of troops. God, it just seems so futile to throw away these SCVs. And right here, this is the power of stim. Right here is there's so many zerglings that he's going to stim, and the Marauders just working away at these zerglings and acting as shields for the precious little Marines in the back. And these guys are like, oh my god. And my spine crawler moved him up here. This Overlord is going to get sniped, and I don't know why these banglings decided that they're going to morph right there, because I wanted them to morph back here. So they're dying. And my spine crawler here just going to add a nice little bit of DPS, take a lot of damage for me, and allow me to clean that up with more reinforcements of speedlings. So Again, creep definitely helping out my bonus right there as far as it goes, helping out my vision, and just in general, the quick ability observe to reproduce units like Zerglings, and having your queens being able to inject the larva, having them there, you know, God, I can taste that 100 APM. Just taste it. So he's thrown up 2 missile turrets, and it's almost like he must have dropped a scan to see my Spire. You know, he must have known that that was there. But with my Overlord, I did catch that this was morphing into a planetary fortress. So it is absolutely imperative that I take this down right away. I'm actually throwing banglings at this. That is how important this is to me to take this down. And he can't rush his troops out there. He doesn't have enough to help. And his expansion goes down, and there's nothing he can really do about it at that point. So taking a look at this now, I am way ahead, 33 to 20 harvesters, and I'm on 2 base. I'm actually going to get ready to take a third. As you can see, I've got a lot of minerals, and now that I've got a lot of gas, as soon as I am unsupply capped, that's why there's 3 overlords coming out, I will quickly presume to build 9 or 10 Mutalisks, and with this current composition of, this Marine Marauder mix, if I can get some Zerglings and some Banglings in there, this will absolutely decimate him. He does not have a factory up. He has really very little that he can use to stop me at this point in the space. Actually still has quite a bit of minerals left on it because he just has not been mining it that heavily. His income has been down this entire game. And it's just little things like stopping the stim, killing the expansion, forcing him to stay in his base, and trading armies with him. It's more effective to trade armies with the Terran at this point, especially if we're talking about Zerglings, a few Banglings here and there. And this is basically probably going to be an all-in attack. He's sending out more SCVs, and I really just do not see the point of sending out your SCVs like this. I mean, I realize they act as a temporary shield. It's good early game, but at this point it just feels worthless. And what he's actually doing is he's choosing to spread out his troops. He's probably hoping that he can help avoid Banglings, but at this point he's actually significantly reducing the effectiveness of each individual unit because they're going to be very easy to surround as long as I do not just attack A. If I can run my troops into the middle, they will surround every unit, and it will be absolute pwn sauce. And going over to the production tab, now that I see this, 26 units worth of Zerglings coming out, I have my expansion going up here in the back. If this attack cannot hold me off, and just looking at the numbers right here, there's really very little he's going to be able to do. He's actually choosing to throw down a bunker, but right now, all I'm going to do is rush him with my Zerglings. I really don't care about the losses, and this is kind of what I'm talking about, just absolutely surrounded and annihilated. Those troops did not even know what hit them. They're far more effective balled up against a wall. I would have lost way, way more, but at this point, there's just so little that he can actually do to try to stop me. He is moving up a second command center right here. I guess he was going for an expansion again. He's going to morph this into a planetary fortress right here. So again, another very desperate move, just trying to hold off whatever impending attack is coming in. I'm going to use my mutas to bust a hole open in the rock over here, and that's really going to be about it. Now that all these Zerglings are in there now, I did not even realize that this was morphing into a planetary fortress while this was going on. I just ran my Zerglings in here. I've got my rally point set right inside his base, and I'm just going to start taking people out. And looking at this, it's actually going to go up, and if this would have been up here, say earlier in the game, this would have been absolutely devastating, but, with the bounce, these SCVs are just slowly getting ripped apart. Now, there's going to be a long string of Zerglings, just look at that. Freaking sweet. And they're just going to town, they're working over everything else. There's really nothing he can do to win at this point in the game without an expansion, and I actually really do not care that my Zerglings are just attacking this planetary fortress at this point, but look at this thing just go, 16 kills, 40 damage. Ridiculous. So OP. But anyway, that is the game. Thank you very much for watching. And the reason why I thought this game was good to bring up to YouTube is there's cool things that happen inside of it, like the back and forth that happens between me and him, the quick ability for Zerglings to reinforce and trading with the Terran army, not letting that ball get too big, and essentially, if you can force him to produce troops, that's, less he can use on getting to tech structures, less he can use, gas for the Marauders that he could use for Thors or something else like that. And your Zerglings, they're cheap. They're, for the most part, expendable. And if you can be on 2 base and be ahead in the economy, you can play this game all day long as you don't run into a bad situation or allow him to, get backed up into a corner and then stim a group of Marines and Marauders and just annihilate whatever you have. But anyway, thank you very much for watching. This is Malikicowtipper signing out.